don't, and they do it all the time whenever they write people I have to voice. I don't like bathroom humor. I never have. And if a character is going to be super bathroom jokey heavy, I guarantee I'll be the one voicing it. Seth just likes to make me say the words I don't like to say. But yeah, I think everyone has their own.
Maybe I could make an imagine.
With like the DC, you guys have DC, or you guys have Star Wars. And I know talking to other people working on the show, Seth and Matt in particular, that those are properties everybody really loves. And is there any feeling that there's anything about them that needs to be held sacred in the writers' room, like?
I don't think so. It's almost like it's never. If we have a line, it's never like we don't want to cross. It's never about the property. It's never about that moment in Star Wars. It's so perfect.
It's untouchable.
Yeah, we can't touch it. It's always like, oh, that joke we want to make about it is inappropriate because in life it's inappropriate. You know, it's never about let's not make fun of that property because it's too great. Yeah. So I don't. Yeah, I think it's sort of open season. And I don't think we don't run into that sort of thing too.
So it's like like you're never sitting there going, man, I wouldn't want to have Superman hit a kid, because of Superman. Because I mean,
I would love to see that.
With Man of Steel, if Superman, like we would definitely do a joke where Superman and Zod crash through a building and a building falls over and crushes 1,000 children at once. That seems like not just fair, but sort of appropriate because we're making a comment about Man of Steel. It's not that we would just drop a building on children for the heck of it.
Yeah.
Although we might.
So one child is a tragedy, but thousands is a comedy?
Comedy, yes. Plus time.
All right, good,
That's the formula.
I'd like to see Man of Steel, Superman snap Mr. Mix's piddling snack.
Well, he's in that business where he apparently just kills his enemies now.
Yeah.
God, people really got upset about that. Okay.
I just think it would be funny to see, no, I'm not going to say your name backwards and get you to say it.
I have another solution.
I'll turn you backwards.
I personally would really like to see the Death Star pants come out.
The what?
The Death Star pants? Was that merchandise in the window?
When they arrive on the Death Star and you have his luggage. It's probably my favorite scene ever. And I've had a lot of people ask me to ask you actually about the Death Star pants. If you guys would ever possibly make something like that available to the public.
Remember when the Emperor loses his luggage and he's got to dress in Death Star merchandise?
I got you. The merchandise, yes, the merch.
But remind me what those pants look like.
They're literally black and all gangster on the
We
side.
would need George to come out of retirement,
right?
take it back from Disney, and then
punch Mickey Mouse in the face,
right?
And then we can make those pants.
And then maybe, or we could just go on the interweb, and I'm guessing someone could make them.
We're going to be airbrushed. Swap.
With gags like that are much more visual that you don't necessarily have to have on the page to get the voiceover done, and you guys are working on animatics. When you're writing, how many of those sight gags do you guys work in before it gets to animation, or do the animators actually sneak a lot of that stuff in?
Because of the way stop motion works, we only get one chance to animate any scene. And so we have to build this roadmap well in advance, which we call our animatic, where we marry the voice to the storyboards. And the animators have to match, down to a fraction of a second animatic. So there isn't a lot of leeway to add stuff. But that said, we'll go from script to animatic, and then if we think things are funny, we can add them to the animatic. But once the animators are animating, they sail pretty much forever.
You guys want to ask questions? I don't want to monopolize.
I'm probably
trying to think of some good ones.
What's your favorite character to write or voice? Write or voice?
I guess it'd be Boba Fett or Lohan. Boba Fett or Lindsay Lohan. My two favorites.
Two of the greatest villains in our.
I was about to say, they really are two of them. Who's your favorite to write?
I really liked writing Lohan.
Yeah.
Actually, I mean we don't beat up on her anymore because that time.
God's taking care of that.
But
Kidding, it's a joke.
But our version of her was so. You could just almost like a wind-up toy. You just wind her up, and she creates mayhem wherever she goes, and that's very fun to write.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't have to have a motivation to do anything.
There's no linear thought.
Yeah.
She just
Free association.
Yeah,
and when you voice her, even like we'll give you a guide with some possible lines, but then I think you just sort of get into her brain.
What's it like to be Lohan?
What's that?
What's it like to be Lohan?
It's scary. It's scary in there. My favorite sketch, and we only did it was a short sketch, was I think it was called Living Lohan or Being Lohan?
Living Lohan.
Living Lohan, and I got to be the whole family. And we just pitched it a little and changed them up. And so it was the mom, the sister, and Lobo. And it was just so much fun because we have so much. And then it's all credited to Michelle Trachtenberg on IMDb, which is even better. Because one day you're going to find Michelle Trachtenberg beaten to death in a dumpster. And it's going to be because of that. But it's just fun.
With you guys like making fun of people, like we heard Wheaton was a little bit upset. You guys didn't even ask him to voice. Didn't
even occur to us.
Did you guys ever worry like that you're going to piss someone off in real life because you've caricatured them on the show?
I don't worry about it because if anyone's going to get beaten on the street, it'll be Seth Green, and I'm fine with that.
I was about to say it's really true.
So it's not. But I think the people we make fun of are like Lindsay's an example. She's never going to single us out as the ones who made fun of her.
She's never going to sit down and watch the show.
Yeah. She has never heard of Adult Swim.
No. She's heard of Adults and Swimming, but she's never put them together. And truthfully, if she even watched the show, it would take 6 seconds for her to be like, I'm done! And then I'm pretty lucky that way.
Thank you very much.
What's that?
What happened last night?
Oh, I embarrassed myself with Edgar Wright.
That's not a lot of detail.
No, that's not a lot of detail. I don't know how else. No, I went to the World's End party because I'm a fanboy, and there are certain things that I still geek out about. So I saw him there. I've tweeted at him, which sounds very dirty. He's tweeted at me. We flirted a little, and then I decided to introduce myself there based on their recommendation. And it's one of those moments where you go up to say hello to somebody, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Matt Senator from Robot Chicken," and I got the best response from him ever. He's like, "Oh, it's so good to meet you." But the 18 people who were standing there, were all like, Robot Chicken. So now I have a conversation with him with 18 people watching. And so whatever I say is being measured by these people, and it's this awkward quiet. So I have to sound important. I have to sound interesting. I was like, I'm just coming to say hey. And he's like, good to see you. And yeah, so it's just a very long, awkward...
And you'll see how hard it is for us to sound interesting.
Yes.
We are not first-hand knowledge.
Yeah, again, we are geeks. We're the guys behind. We're not Seth, who is out and about.
Of geeks, Zack,
we're not Brecken.
If you still have your Thor costume.
It's back in...
Did you take those videos down?
No, I didn't. YouTube took them down.
What?
Well, I had music, I had
Playing Rolling Stones.
Is it like my image of you has always been like that picture that they ran in Wizard all the time with you in that door.
I think it's still under the stairs at my home, not my home, but my parents' home.
For context, I used to work at Wizard Magazine. The way I found Zeb was he entered a video contest where he dressed up as Thor on VHS tape. he sent in for our video contest a video of him doing the real world Metropolis, and he was dressed as Thor, who is a drug
addicted to drugs. That's to explain the weight loss. I said I was addicted to drugs.
It worked out beautifully.
Yeah.
And that's how he became a part of our show.
It is a hideous sight. If you ever get a chance to see it, it is a hideous costume.
It always made me laugh.
Good to know.
On the obscure stuff, so we're on the way in on the trolley this morning, and unrelated to this, not bringing it up or anything, there's a little girl talking, and she's before said she was 8, and was talking about Robot Chicken, just on her own, and
Bad parents.
her dad explained she loves the show but refuses to watch it because the intro is so terrifying to her.
I've heard a lot of people say that.
So
It is an
are you
unsettling intro.
thinking
Yeah.
of changing the intro to capture the 8-year-old girl demographic? Is that a plan at all? Because it's been going for almost
Being
a
that
decade now.
we have this wonderful thing that our country makes us put on that says TVMA,
Yeah.
that 8-year-old demo might be out of our range. That parent probably needs a stern talking to. We say a lot of things and do a lot of things on our show that are inappropriate. So
Some for adults.
Some for adults, yeah. We get a lot of angry letters from adults. So, yeah. I don't know.
Elaborate on angry letters.
It's Twitter. I read Twitter feeds probably more than I should, and it's probably one of those things that's gonna ruin my life at one point.
I get most of my political views from YouTube comments.
Oh yeah, I mean
those are
everybody on
terrible.
Twitter hates our show. I just read the hate feeds, which I love, like our message boards. I'll just go.
Hates everything.
It's great to see, but it humbles you, which
What's
I
the
think is
common
nice.
complaint?
It's for 8-year-olds. For our potty humor.
So you guys are just putting out the DC specials. You guys did your trilogy of Star Wars specials. What's the difference? You know, with Star Wars specials, you've had like George Lucas working with you and heckling you, and then now you've got Jeff Johns. What's the difference in like command style between the
The difference between George Lucas and Jeff Johns.
Ooh, is there one?
I don't know. That's tough. I would say in a fight, Jeff could probably win.
I don't know. No.
Like a physical battle. I mean,
I
George.
could see just Lucas turning into a flurry of kicks and punches,
Yeah.
biting. I wouldn't know where to put my money.
But no, Jeff is, it's one of those things where Jeff started with us also, and we just have a good rapport with him. Again, our whole writer's room mentality is just to make each other laugh. We're not trying to cater to the audience. It's just about what makes friends laugh. So that's kind of the dynamic. Whereas with Lucas, he's someone that we idolize and want to impress. So the difference would be more we do that ourselves, and then we get really paranoid and self-conscious about what we're submitting and hoping he's not going to come back and hate something. So it's that kind of difference between
So like,
the two.
how did you sell him on the sketch where he's riding a dude in a Tauntaun costume?
So I was shocked about that. We actually this is probably too long of a story, but we that sketch was written, and Lucasfilm said no to that sketch originally, and we were like, just let us ask George if we can just ask and just walk him through it, and they were like, okay, you can pitch it to him, and in the process of pitching it, you saw his eyes kind of turn his head. And he's like, yeah, fuck it. Maybe not with those exact words. He's like, oh yeah, and he just did it, and he just gave a great performance, and yeah, just was really, really into it. Like he's way more funny than people understand. Like yeah, I mean you've met him a bunch of times. You just don't expect him to have the sense of humor because you only see him in those like straightforward interviews, and it's usually like on,
Like startling you.
Yeah, like having conversations about, these worldwide scenarios as opposed to just, talking about going to see Fast 5.
With the DC comic special, what were you looking forward to most when you started diving into DC, like as a whole? What were you looking forward to most to jump into?
Yeah, that's hard because it's such a huge stable of characters that they're all so mythic that they're all perfect to make fun of. So there's mostly just mouth watering about getting in there.
Yeah, I think it started for the second special. We loved Alfred Molina as Lex Luthor, So we knew we wanted to focus on Lex Luthor and the villain's characters more so in this, and we love like Paul Rubens as the Riddler, so we knew we were going to do that. And then as we were coming up with that villain story for this one, it kind of evolved into Villains in Paradise. So I don't know if you are aware of Revenge of the Nerds 2, but there's a loose connection to that story. It just goes off the rails very quickly. Yeah, in a good way.
Yeah, it was good because the first special you get to see which characters pop for you and which ones you really think are funny, and so we were just looking forward to writing them again.
Yeah. I was gonna say, has winning Emmy and Annie awards gone to anyone's head? And who has the biggest ego now? And who's the most difficult to work with?
Brecken.
Absolutely.
See, not even. Yeah. You know, it's one of those things where you just. We're never going to win them. We never expect to win them. It really is one of those things where it's always shocking when you're there. Again, we're very disconnected. Like we have our real lives and our fake lives. You know, Seth comes from the world of entertainment and understands that. When we hang out with him, it's one set of worlds, and then we go back home to our normal life where we're playing video games on the couch and going to bed at 8 o'clock at night and watching Big Brother or something. So it's very surreal. It's turned into a very surreal scenario. It's humbling. It's very humbling.
And in the morning, do you guys ever find clues that the models have come to life and walked around at night when you left?
Oh man, I wish they would. I wish they would.
Awesome.
Then, you could just roll the camera.
Exactly.
No, they never move unless somebody moves them. One little bit at a time.
And that one or 2 days where you get that earthquake and they get reshifted and they have moved and you have to start over again. That's the worst feeling ever.
Yeah, it's gotta be. When you guys shoot a stop animation feature project, would you think it would take longer than a regular live action movie?
Yes and no. Because the good thing about stop motion is once you take that picture, that frame can go right into editing. And it's a finished product. But with it'd probably be a little bit longer. It'd probably be like 18 to 24 months, to do a stop motion movie.
But with stop motion, you can throw up, because they're smaller stages, you can throw up 18 to 20 stages and have a bunch of animators working at one time. You're burning through more scenes.
It'll take a while. It's a lot of work.
Do you guys all actually do the moving specifically?
I do not. I've tried and failed miserably, and there's a reason I do not do it. But this one,
I've been trying to learn. I took a class, and I'm trying.
In not having the shakes?
Yeah, exactly. So it was very interesting, but on the show, I do not animate. I animated a clock face once.
Our animators are our actors. I mean, we have like 12 to 15 animators who are working daily, moving those puppets, and their performances make or break the show. And if you talk about your live action actors, they have one take to get it perfect. So if you think about it's in essence a live performance. It's a stage show, is what Robot Chicken becomes for these animators.
What field do they come in originally to do that?
It's really weird. They come from everywhere.
Yeah.
I would have thought they came
very
from
specific.
Yeah, it's just people that just got passionate about it at some point in their life.
A lot of people from Cal Arts or like NYU or RISD, like a lot of the art schools they come from, but there aren't a lot of classes for it, so they learn from other. It's very high school in the way that everybody knows everybody, and then you find a mentor and they kind of teach you, and then you jump into the fray. I would say half of our animators start as interns with us, and now we've grown into animators.
Yeah,
it really is. It's a great analogy. No, that's perfect.
How often do you put on your producer hat, like nix stuff in the writer's room because it's going to be too expensive?
That's what I try to do. Because directing last season, I have a better idea of things that are going to kill us on stages and whatnot, and I'll try to nudge the sketch in a certain direction if I think it's going to destroy us. But then sometimes if something's super funny and super cool, you just bite the bullet and say, yes, this is going to be really hard, but we're going to go for it.
With stop motion, the things you realize are, try not to do water. Don't have 15 to 20 to 100 characters in any shot. Fake it. Like, have a character walk through the foreground, have a lot of sound that makes it sound like there's a group and maybe one or two people in the back. Thousands of people there, according to us. How do you keep is kind of the way that you go about building stop motion,
Yeah.
or at least cheap stop motion.
Yeah.
You look at Coraline; they're not doing that.
What's the most opulent thing you guys have just been like, no, we're not doing that?
There was Tom Root pitched a Game of Thrones sketch where it was going to be the opening credits of Game of Thrones, but then instead of the buildings growing up, it was going to be toilets.
I forgot about that one.
And so I was just begging them, please don't. This will be so hard to shoot. There's no way we can possibly do this. And I think I finally did get that cut, and Tom still hates me for it.
That's usually the way.
Yeah.
Time-consuming poop joke of it.
Yeah, there was one joke for the whole 30-second thing. There's one joke that would have killed us. Just killed us.
Someone made a career of Garbage Pail Kids, though.
That's
They had
true.
one joke.
See?
Yeah.
He's thinking like Tom. Yeah, just saying.
Maybe I made a terrible mistake.
What's the best sort of celebrity who's come in and has totally surprised you with their voice?
That's love.
Could have at least been a stage flight. It was a
Look
full
at
on.
the sheet. You're a voice talent.
See, he's a maniac.
Sorry. What was I'm sorry.
Celebrity. Surprised you. Or disappointed.
I'll never say the disappointed. But you know,
Sam Elliott came in and.
I mean, yeah, Sam Elliott, it's one of those things where you knew coming in he was going to do an amazing job, and the fact that he got nominated for an Emmy just now speaks volumes that, you know, he can come on and say white wine, fuck yeah, and get an Emmy nom. It is a miracle upon miracles against everybody else out there. Yeah, it's less surprise than it is like excitement for a lot of the people. Where you like, for me, it's more the old timers. Like when Don Knotts came on the show, that was a big thing for me. When Pat Morita was on the show, we flew to Las Vegas to record him. He picked us up from the airport in his car. He had like the best like hat with a pen attached to the hat that dropped down, and like was writing things. He was like the nicest guy in the world. Those are the ones that like they give you those memorable moments that you can just never lose. And yeah, I get more excited for those guys.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've had one that stands out.
Yeah, Sam Elliott for me. I just love that Sam Elliott came on and did a Sectar sketch. That Sam Elliott said, "Where's Skulk? He wouldn't go anywhere without his tarantula." We got him to say that. He was just eating it up. It was pretty amazing.
And who do you want to get that you haven't been able to yet?
For me, it's always Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
I think we've been close a few times, but who knows? They're mocking us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was gonna say, do you guys consider yourselves to be more like the Super Friends or the Legion of Doom?
Ooh, I'm definitely a super friend.
Yeah, probably more the Legion of Doom. Constant bickering, trying to get the mission accomplished. But
yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
We always say
he's
that
Lex Luthor.
the writer's room's a bunch of assholes, so that's probably true, unfortunately.
Thanks, guys. Oh.
Thank you.
Guys, very much.
Thank you.